Mostly, my man.
Knight, I had a feeling you'd choose. Knight, I hate to tell you this, but you're out of a book.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. Can I ask you?
You're the right.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
Look, the department...
So, couldn't you make them in?
With what? I've got 7 bodies and still no leads. The voodoo angle's worthless. And besides, these people aren't hurting anybody but out-of-town drug dealers and hitmen.
The voodoo stuff is not worthless. It's the key to the whole thing.
Okay. You want me to reopen this case?
What do you mean?
You need to prove there's a legitimate... Prove that there are 3... Get me a lead on...
There's been another murder.
What?
Just listen. This guy's name is Hartridge. He was a professor in African studies at Tulane. He agreed to do some research for me. He calls me up this morning, tells me he's onto something big.
People die.
Well,
Then there's nothing to relate it to the voodoo murders case, which is closed anyway. The coroner will pick him up.
but I'm the link to the...
Look, if I were you, I wouldn't repeat that to anyone. If I weren't an old friend of yours, as it is, maybe you should start keeping your mouth shut. Not involve other people with this shit.
Crash is dead.
What?
Yeah, and I watched him die yesterday.
At the cathedral? Guess he was trying to get a last-minute A train.
I think you should go find the body at the morgue. He was killed by the voodoo cult. Crash said.
Crash said. Did he mention pink elephants, too?
Aren't you going to investigate?
Civilians. Did you...
No. Actually, I was with him when he died.
Yeah, well, when they get the body in, they'll do a quick autopsy. Standard procedure. If it's anything other than an overdose, I'll get a report.
Your professionalism is astonishing. Do you know anything about...
What?
Beves? They're ritualistic patterns used...
You know what the department says about that, Knight. That...
Yeah, well, they're wrong.
Look, just stop worrying about them.
You know those marks you found around the murder victims? This is a reconstruction of the whole.
What makes you think this is an accurate reconstruction?
Well, I borrowed the partial patterns from your police file and did my own tracing of the pattern at Lake Pontchartrain. An architectural artist
Really? So this is the whole pattern, huh? Well, but that doesn't prove that this pattern is really connected to...
Somewhere the hydrogen.
Take a look at these notes. They're from Professor Hartridge at Tulane University.
Yeah? And what about them?
They confirm that the pattern from the murders is of African origin.
Really? It's incredible, isn't it? Something like that showing up here?
It's been here for quite some time, so it seems.
I'm impressed. Okay, you've convinced me. The murders were done by a legitimate voodoo cult.
It's a newspaper clip. It's a new...
This is a newspaper clipping about a murder committed in 1810. That murder is an exact match of the voodoo murders, right down to the...
This does sound like the same M.O. 1810?
1810. They killed then, they're killing now. Isn't that...
Okay. There.
Those two objects. Those two objects.
I have these two snake scales. One's from the crime scene at Lake Pontchartrain. The other's from a snake in the Voodoo Museum on...
Is this common?
Not at all. They're both constrictor scales, and the coloring is the same.
A pipe?
That's right. Hardly an indigenous snake to Louisiana. Somehow, some way, the Voodoo Museum...
Well, I'd call that a lead, all right. It certainly suggests, sir, if we can tie them into this voodoo cult, we... Okay, I'll reopen the case. I hate to admit it, but you've done some...
Well, you know what they say. Imitation is the sincerest form.
Well, I'll check around the department, but I have a feeling I'm on my own. In fact, I better lock up this office just in case I step on a few toes. Come on. Now, lay low and let me...
Yeah, fine.
It's getting late. Gabriel.
Dang!
What is it? What's wrong?
Gabriel?
I see it, Grace. Hold on. There's no one in the shop, and I know that...
Okay. Gabriel, that thing is still barely alive.
With a knife?
God, don't even start.
No. I'll take care of it.
But Gabriel...
I said I'll take care of it. Why don't you go get some coffee? I'll have it all cleaned up before you get back.
They know where you live now.
Shh. It's gonna be...
No. I'd rather keep busy. I'll be fine. At least that creepy guy is gone. Ugh. Not that they aren't still watching. Anyway, speaking of keeping... We got that book you ordered in this morning. The one on Rada drums.
Really? Great.
Gabriel!
I see it. Stay back.
Gabriel finds those popular authors very mediocre. As though they would care. Gabriel doesn't the desk. Grace actually the book Times pick Gabriel finds an article about Saint Jean's Eve. In the early to mid-1800s, Saint Jean's Eve was celebrated with elaborate voodoo gatherings. These days, the day is commemorated commercially in some of the local shops. Despite his better judgment, today you will either die.
Sure. They'll be out tonight for sure. It's just an envelope.
I can see that.
Gabriel eyes the surreptitiously delivered envelope. There doesn't seem to be anything unusual about it. Gabriel opens a note from Mosley and a small brown. It's on Mosley.
Gabe, I have to go underground with this thing. It runs wide. I'm already being watched. It was suggested. Try to keep out of this. It's too hot for a rookie. Just P.S. I think this note will look great in the book, don't
The note is
That envelope was just a note and a key from Mosley.
Ah, that's good.
why use the tattoo.
Will you do me a favor?
What?
Use your paints to copy this snake tattoo onto my chest.
Now, why on earth would you want me to do that?
I'm going to a party tonight. Costume, you know.
You don't say.
Eesh.
And why should I help you out when only...
Well, if you're jealous about my feelings for her.
You know that's not it. I just think, as your friend, that she's trouble.
It's perfectly understandable. I know you have certain feelings for me. Quite naturally.
Me?
I know it must be hard having it in your face like this. No chance to avoid hearing about it, seeing it day by day.
Fine. Can we at least go...
Sure, but
Ugh.
what did I say?
All right. Let's go.
You don't know how long.
Now. Hold still.
Maybe you'd like to.
One more remark.
Okay.
Done. It's just stunning.
Sorry I couldn't make it last longer.
Well, it was about what I expected from you.
Are you...
I'll...
I'm trying.
The beignet vendor. The beignet.
Hello? What kind of... Say, haven't I seen you before?
I get around the French Quarter.
You say you used to be at Royale and...
That's right.
Why don't you go back?
Do you think? I've been must be the weather. These thick clouds we've had all week. I'm just not seeing the crowds here that I expected.
I definitely think you should go back to Royal and Conti.
Really? I'm glad you think so. I always liked that beat. But I thought
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. You're right.
Hey, it's a beignet guy. He's back.
Where?
Grab me 3 or 4, would you?
Forget it, I'm broke.
Rats. You stay put. Hey, get out.
Oh, is this private? Sorry.
Gabriel can't do anything with that door.
You got no business back there now. Move along.
Sorry.
It looks a bit heavy. The door works
It's just an...
I can...
Gabriel can... It's a... Why put... Gabriel listens carefully to the drums and opens his radar book to translate. Gabriel listened. If Gabriel's translation of the drum code is correct, there'll be a conclave tonight in the swamp. That must be the bayou. That seems like too many phrases somehow. A sign on the front door of Magentia's home reads, attending a channeling seminar until August 1st.